So, do you think there was crossover? People coming from one party over to another party for any reason?
I don't think there was too much crossover, especially on the first congressional district. The Democrats had quite a heated race over there. A lot of people thought that would go convention, and Pat Murphy just slightly got past that convention mark.
35%.
Yep, and the main reason for that was you had two, Swati Danikar and Monica Vernon out of Cedar Rapids splitting that vote. So I think that also, I think that took a lot of it out. I mean, the majority of the first district's one of the most Democratic districts in the state. So that would have taken out a lot of the crossover. And just the turnout itself, only 165,000 voted in this primary, as opposed to in 2010, almost 230,000 voted.
So we were down 20 or 30%.
That's correct.
It was hard to see. It was hard to watch. I didn't understand.
Part of it, only people could make up their mind. They saw four candidates. They didn't have a strong opinion for any of them. So they, when it came to election day, they stayed home. Because the main thing that's going to turn people out, especially we saw in the Vanderplots-Branstad primary, people are very passionately behind Bob Vanderplots or Terry Branstad, and they turned out. People in this one, like I like Joni Ernst, I like Mark Jacobs, I like Sam Clovis, but they weren't passionate enough to get out, remember to vote, and turn out that day.
Gotcha.
So that's why you saw turnout so low. And plus, people thought Joni was going to win. I mean, the polls are showing her quite a bit of leads. I think a lot of people have said, she's going to win anyway. I don't need to show up.
I don't need to show up. Now, to recap, going around the state, let's start in the first congressional district. There's 4 congressional districts in Iowa.
That's correct, yeah.
First is Northeast Iowa. You already mentioned Pat Murphy for the Democrats won a hotly contested primary, so he'll be challenging who, and what do you make of that race for this fall?
The Republicans had Rod Blum come out on top in that race. He ran against Steve Rocci. Steve's run several times before.
And there was one more, Gail Bolivar.
Yes.
Okay, yes. And Steve's pretty well known in Cedar Rapids. It's always been kind of his main base support. He did very well there Tuesday night. The support didn't really leave Cedar Rapids. Rod did very well in Dubuque, where he's from, in Black Hawk County, where Waterloo's at, and came out with a pretty easy victory. So Rod Blum will face against Pat Murphy in a race that leans in favor of Democrats.
It would basically, for Blum to win in November, it would basically have to be 2010 on steroids.
That is correct.
2010 was a big year for Republicans because of antipathy toward Obamacare, which had just passed. Well, there's still antipathy toward Obamacare.
And to Rod Blum's advantage, I do feel the Democrats put up a weak nominee. We talked in Cedar Rapids, the 2 strongest nominees are there, but they split the city against each other.
Okay.
So Pat Murphy emerged, and people don't remember Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy used to be the Speaker of the House until the 2010 election, where we get the Democratic majority down to 40 seats. I was actually quite surprised to see Pat Murphy won that primary.
So does Rod Blum have good ground game?
It got him the primary, and you have to remember Rod Blum ran against Ben Lang in 2012. A lot of people didn't think he had a chance. He was within 1 or 2 percentage points of Ben Lang, largely because of his ground game.